Chapter 4. There are no absolutes.
Yes, there will be test questions for this chapter. 10 true or false sample test questions follow. The correct answer to these 10 questions will be found in the current chapter material. It is suggested pausing the audio to read these sample test questions. Continue the audio after completing your review.
There are no absolutes. When faced with a head-on collision, which way should you go, left or right? Fortunately, head-on collision avoidance is extremely rare. Unfortunately, there are those who believe the highly emotional, extreme fear, quick reaction technique for escape in a head-on collision can be taught in a classroom setting. Furthermore, there are those who take the position that one should never go left to escape. Granted, NASCAR drivers, see picture 4-3 below, have advanced their skill level in quick reaction evasive maneuvers through considerable practice. Even such skilled drivers face poor odds when out of nowhere an opposite direction vehicle is rapidly closing in their lane. It is an undeniable fact that becoming competent in any quick reaction behavior requires substantial practice. Unless you are a NASCAR driver, the practicing of quick reaction behavior can be dangerous and is not recommended. The D team stands by its position that the instantaneous recall of techniques such as head-on collision avoidance are rare and are impossible when facing an immediate collision scenario. However, that being said, the following are a couple of suggestions just in case you are able to accomplish the near impossible. 1. Reduce speed. The force of the collision is the combination of the speed of both vehicles. 2. Attempt to reduce the frontal force of the head-on collision by changing your direction of travel to create a glancing blow. There are no absolutes. Being passed. Important. Passing and being passed can only occur on two-way roads. A two-way road is a road that has two single lanes of traffic traveling in opposite directions. See picture 4-4 below. A passing maneuver always requires a return to the original lane. Smart defense by the D team will now provide the following suggestions for motor vehicles being passed on the left while traveling on a two-way road. Picture 4-4 above. Generally maintaining your same speed is the preferred procedure when being passed on the left. By doing this, you will allow the vehicle operator executing the passing maneuver the best opportunity to complete the passing maneuver with the least amount of risk. However, there is a potential dangerous occurrence that can take place during this passing maneuver, identified herein as speed matching. The speed matching occurrence generally takes place following a poor decision by the operator of the left passing vehicle. The operator of this passing vehicle suddenly reaches the decision that there is not enough space or time to complete a safe pass and begins to slow down. Unfortunately, the driver of the vehicle being passed recognizes the lack of space and time to complete a safe passing left maneuver and also begins the slowing process, which is speed matching. If you are the driver being passed and there is a clear right shoulder, then moving onto the shoulder area may be the safest option. If no shoulder area is available, then good luck. Hopefully the speed matching would cease. There are no absolutes. Special advice. This advice applies to a motorist traveling in the opposite direction from a vehicle who is making an unsafe passing maneuver. Please don't go to the movies. The moving picture to the front involving an opposite direction unsafe pass can be mesmerizing, especially to a new driver. Saying to yourself, she is not going to make it, will not solve the impending danger. Make something happen to lessen the risk of becoming a statistic. Slow down. Remember, the driver heading toward you has made a bad decision, but you should not be required to pay the price. If there is a clear right shoulder, then move over to further help. Once again, there are no absolutes. Following distance and stopping distance. A reading of Delaware law below clearly identifies there are no absolutes for determining a legal following distance. Title 21, Motor Vehicles, Operation and Equipment, Chapter 41, Rules of the Road. Section 41.23, following too closely. A. The driver of a vehicle shall not follow another vehicle more closely than is reasonable and prudent, having due regard for the speed of such vehicles and the traffic upon and the condition of the highway. Fact. Stopping distance is a factor in determining following distance. Therefore, smart defense by the D team will identify a generally accepted formula to determine stopping distance. Stopping distance equals perception plus reaction plus braking distance. Not much help, is it? Then again, maybe it can be helpful. Can you imagine driving on a Delaware roadway at 45 miles per hour and being able to apply the above formula? First, one would have to know the braking distance for that particular vehicle traveling at 45 miles per hour. In order to determine the braking distance, the driver would have to know the condition of the vehicle, weight, tires, shock absorbers, and more. Then the weather, including road traction, and even the direction and speed of the wind would need to be determined and plugged into the formula. Unfortunately, there still would not be enough information available. The driver would then have to factor in the number of feet traveled for that individual's reaction time. Not good enough yet. Perception is the next factor in determining stopping distance. Perception is recognizing the need to stop. Perception will differ greatly depending on far too many variables to discuss. Unfortunately, your vehicle is no longer traveling at 45 miles per hour. You are now traveling at 55 miles per hour and it is raining. Start over or recognize there are no absolutes when it comes to determining stopping distance. However, let us not shortchange the information in the formula. Knowledge of the factors in the stopping distance formula, stopping distance equals perception plus reaction plus braking distance, can help a conscientious driver make better decisions. Following distance. There are two theories that dominate following distance. 1. Counting the number of seconds your vehicle trails the vehicle directly in front of you. The counting technique is to find an object down the road and begin counting seconds when the vehicle to your front reaches that object. The counting stops when your vehicle reaches the same point. If you reach the target object in a shorter time than your predetermined safe following distance, number of seconds, an adjustment should be made. Some flaws in counting seconds. A. Since vehicle operators constantly change speed, there would be a need to count following distance seconds continually throughout your driving experience. B. There is no consistency when different individuals mentally count seconds. Thus, the safe following distance would differ from individual to individuals depending on their mental evaluation of the length of a second. C. This counting technique at night becomes extremely difficult when a driver is attempting to find an object for a point to begin the counting process. D. Counting seconds as a method to determine following distance can also be extremely distracting, thus adding to the hazards of the driving process. 2. Smart defense by the D team suggests the driver of a motor vehicle keep their eyes on the road. Check your speed and maintain a minimum of one car length, 15 to 20 feet, for every 10 miles an hour you are traveling. This way, the distance judgers are keeping their eyes on the road in front of them instead of searching for a yet-to-be-discovered counting point. Of course, no matter which technique you choose, there are other factors that must be taken into consideration such as weather, road surface, traffic, etc., which would require an increase in the following distance. There are no absolutes. Question. What is the term used to identify when one vehicle is traveling too close to the vehicle directly to the front? If you answered tailgating, you answered incorrectly. Tailgating is reserved for football games. The correct answer is formation driving. You probably thought formation only happens when airplanes are involved. See below. Fact. The Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds are two highly skilled and professionally trained supersonic jet aerial aerobatic teams. At speeds in excess of 500 miles per hour, these pilots are capable of maintaining a space cushion of less than 3 feet, wingtip to wingtip, because they practice and they communicate. Another critical factor is they are willing to place their lives in the hands of their fellow team members. The question for the operator of a motor vehicle who chooses to drive in formation is not how good he or she is, but how much trust are they willing to place in the hands of other vehicle operators. The smart answer should be, not very much. Important. Airplane formation contains the critical element of communication between the leader and the remainder of the flight. When motor vehicles are engaged in formation driving, communication between the leader and the remainder of vehicles is non-existent. Smart defense by the D team answer. Become the leader. It is called front space. By maintaining adequate and safe front space, you will automatically become the leader of any lesser talented motorist who insists on riding in formation with you. But what do you do if some blank takes your front space? Are you still a leader? Yes, if you immediately readjust. Just a slight ease off your gas pedal will usually do the trick. However, there may also be the need to use the brake pedal. You're good. That blank needs your help. It is called SOS. You can drive smart or you can drive stupid. Smart defense by the D team recognizes it is not always easy to drive smart, but the penalties for driving stupid are not worth the risk. One final comment concerning formation driving. There are those motorists who are also concerned with the vehicle behind them being too close. That becomes a more difficult driving environment to control. 1. Slowing up in an attempt to entice a passing lane change maneuver by the formation driver to the rear may work. However, if passing lane change was an option previously, it probably already would have happened. 2. Playing with your headlights and our brake lights maybe will work or maybe will not work. 3. Some suggest pulling off onto the shoulder to guarantee a passing lane changing maneuver by the formation driver behind you. This may work until the next incident of formation driving. The bottom line, there are no absolutes when it comes to resolving formation driving to the rear. However, smart defense by the D team suggests that by being a leader, adequate, safe front space, you will have better odds of returning home safely. Question. How much front space do you need when following a vehicle that obstructs your view to the front? Answer. Certainly more space than when following a normal-sized vehicle. Incidentally, if the traffic signal hidden by the truck has just turned red, you may soon be feeling the heat. There are no absolutes. Carjacking. Important. The D team does not support and/or reject the suggestions identified below as they relate to carjacking. They are included as information only. You be the judge. Please keep in mind, there are no absolutes. It never hurts to be careful in this crazy world we live in. 1. Tip from Tae Kwon Do. The elbow is the strongest point on your body. If you're close enough to use it, do. 2. If a robber asks for your wallet and our purse, do not hand it to him. Toss it away from you. Chances are he is more interested in your wallet and our purse than you, and he will go for the wallet or purse. Run like mad in the other direction. 3. If you're ever thrown in the trunk of a car, kick out the back lights and stick your arm out of the hole and start waving like crazy. The driver won't see you, but everyone else will. This has saved lives. 4. As soon as you get into your car, lock the doors and drive away. 5. If someone is in the car threatening you, do not drive off. Instead, gun the engine and speed into anything, wrecking the car. Your airbag will save you. If the person is in the back seat, they will get the worst of it. As soon as the car crashes, bail out and run. 6. A few notes about getting into your car in a parking lot or parking garage. A. Be aware. Look around you, look into your car, at the passenger side floor, and in the back seat. B. Check for any threat outside your car. The car parked on the driver's side of your vehicle and on the passenger side. It is always better to be safe than sorry. There are no absolutes. In picture 4-10 above, the traffic signal is not operating. There are many drivers who take the position that the four-way stop sign rules should be used in this situation. However, there are actually 8 traffic lanes in this intersection instead of the 4 lanes when the four-way rule was initiated. Each of the 4 entrances into the intersection has a right turn lane and a through lane. In fact, some intersections have even more intersection lanes. See picture 4-11 below. Smart defense by the D team suggests when there is a malfunction at a traffic light controlled intersection, be careful. There are no absolutes. Question. Does Delaware law require all snow be removed from the roof of a vehicle operating on Delaware roadways? Answer: the D team was not able to locate any such law. However, Smart Defense strongly urges, clear it. Snow or any other loose debris on the vehicle roof can become a roadway hazard if not removed. There are no absolutes. When it comes to hand position on the steering wheel, and in particular how many hands on the steering wheel, many drivers will disagree. The D team is quite sure you have heard it time and time again, 9 and 3 or 10 and 2. Let us be perfectly clear. There is nothing wrong of either of the previous mentioned steering wheel hand positions. However, the D team has never been able to locate any scientific study validating their increased safety. Smart Defense by the D team recommends it is your choice as to hand position on the steering wheel. There are no absolutes. However, there is an almost absolute when it comes to how many hands should be on the steering wheel. If you answer 1, you are wrong. Likewise, if you answer 2, you are also wrong. The almost absolute answer is a maximum of 2 and a minimum of 1. Driving with your knees is not recommended. Why is the answer almost absolute? Because there are individuals who do not have the ability to use their hands in the driving process, but can control the steering of a motor vehicle by other methods. Pencil and paper time. Quiz question. Write down the answers to the quiz questions immediately below in picture 4-13. The correct answers will be provided in chapter number 6.
Pause the audio player while you determine your answers to the quiz question in picture 4-13. Return to the audio player after writing down your answers.
SOS. You can drive smart or you can drive stupid.